So first and foremost, before we do get started, if some of you don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Tuckwood. I'm CEO and I'm co-founder here at ISR Training. I'm pretty fortunate. For the last 5 years, I've been working with business owners just like you, sales professionals just like you, entrepreneurs, to help them grow their businesses through ethical sales training. I now co-founded and own 3 different businesses, and undoubtedly this is the most interesting stage of business I've ever encountered, and I'm sure there's a few of you that feel exactly the same. And if there weren't a few nerves around, a little bit of apprehension about where your business might be going right now, I'd be very, very surprised. I guess the beautiful thing is right now we're on a Zoom meeting with people all around the world, people that are on live on Facebook, and I promise you you're not alone. We have a very stable business. We're in a very good position. We're backed by 3 of Australia's brightest and smartest minds in Steve Baxter, Andrew Banks and Glenn Richards. And I've had a bit of a twinge this week, a bit of a reality check to go, hey, are we innovative? Can we pivot enough right now to survive this period? Because the reality is we don't know how long it's going to go on for. We have to be optimistic, and I think to be optimistic, you need to surround yourself with the right people, which is why we're all in here today as well. So, hey, Paul, can see you just snuck in there, mate. Paul James, good to see you. Now, guys, as a bit of a thank you, you might have already seen that we've put a few promos out there to kind of help people through this tough time, to lower our barrier of entry. We've reduced the price of every single online training program we've got for obvious reasons. People are at home to educate themselves. And I'm going to take that a step further for you guys today. And right at the end, I'm going to give you a code as a further thank you if you would like to look at any more of our services. But to do that, I think I need to earn the right and actually give you some value. So before I go into this, because I know some people join these webinars and they're just kind of intrigued and they want to see what we chat about. Just give me a quick why in the chat. Are you actually working from home right now? And is it a change? So not do you normally work from home, just give me a quick why if you're working from home, but you normally work from an office or externally. Sue, sort of. Rachel, yes. Skyle, not just yet, Skyle. Normally home. Beatrix, yes. Okay, still servicing machines. Yeah, bang, bang, bang. Okay, cool. Again, anybody that's commenting on the Facebook Live, Lauren will be on to that as well. Feel free to comment yes or no. Christy, working from home. Christy, good to see you. Josie, always from home. Okay, so the reason I asked that question, hey Luke, good to see you in there, mate. The reason I asked that question is that some of you in here are going to be able to help out everybody else, probably more than I can. The reason I wanted to do this webinar was I actually struggle working from home. This might be quite ironic. I've got my dog in here with me right now. He's a distraction. There's lots of things that could go on and I can get easily distracted. So what I want to do really is firstly highlight the challenges that I've found myself over the years of working from home periodically, and also heard from people that I've coached over the years that work from home. And I'm also open to your suggestions on your biggest challenges, and maybe I'll be able to give us some advice on what we've done to overcome that. And then I'm going to move on to then sharing what I've found to be the best top 10 tips to stay productive and maximize this work from home opportunity. What I want to do firstly is ask you guys a question though. And I want you to be really, really raw and vulnerable with me if you can, and if you're brave enough to do so. What is becoming very evident in this time of crisis, uncertainty, apprehension, however you want to phrase it, is that there's 2 mindsets that in the world, in people, in human beings that are coming out right now. We've got a scarcity mindset, and you know who you are. You're the ones that ran and grabbed all those toilet rolls. And then we've got a growth mindset. So the scarcity mindset are the people that they don't believe that we're going to get through this. They don't believe that there's any more money out there. They're for want of a better phrase, they're hoarders. They're so obsessed with holding on to the last little bit of money they've got just in case, which is what I used to be, guys. By the way, I used to be a scarcity mindset person. I used to be a hoarder. In this situation now, I would batten down the hatches previously. I certainly wouldn't be looking at personal development. I wouldn't have even been on a webinar like this. Hats off to you. And then the other types of people are the ones with a growth mindset. They're looking to innovate. They're looking to pivot. They see opportunity in this. The way I look at this right now is I could lose everything. I could. I've got a beautiful house. I've got a 15-month-old baby boy. I've got a business and two other businesses that I'm super, super proud of. I could lose everything. But my growth mindset says, but Ryan, you're not in the same position you were 9 years ago when you had nothing. Because 9 years ago, I had 31 cents in my bank and I was sleeping on a bathroom floor. But now I've got 9 years worth of knowledge. It will never take me 9 years to get back where I am again today. So I see this as opportunity. So I don't really have any fear in this situation. And I don't want that to create a divide. I'm just being very honest. But if you'd have asked me that 6 or 7 years ago, I would have, as I say, battened down the hatches. So I want you to write down either scarcity or growth in the chat. Be really honest. What does your gut say? Are you nervous? Do you think your business is done, or are we finished? Or are you really looking for opportunity now in a way to kind of grow during this transitional phase? Be honest. Matt, love it. Partially both. Christy, absolutely, 100%. Paul, both. Appreciate your honesty. Growth. Both. What are we saying on Facebook, guys? Growth mainly. I like that, Wayne. There's that 1% at the back of the mind, right? It kicks in. And I think that's really important. Then when it does kick in, we have the right people around us. Growth, Christine, capitals. I love it. Depend on type of business. I'm an accountant. Yeah, okay, so focusing on the numbers. I think there's being realistically positive. There's not being deluded. I think we need to be realistically positive. I got told I was panicking at the end of the weekend when I decided I was going to take everybody out of the office and get everybody working from home. I think it's being prudent. I think I planned for the worst and hoped for the best. I put systems in place. I put strategies in place to make sure that, do you know what? If I did overreact, I don't care. You call me a panicker, but we survived. And I would rather do that than actually fall out the other side as somebody that didn't take action and just kind of will ride it out. I don't think we can ride it out. I think you got to control your destiny. And for those of you that have given yourself the title of CEO or business owner there, it's time where we now have to stand up and we have to make decisions. And we can make a decision right now to contract and stay small, or we can actually get that growth mindset and start looking for opportunities. Sue's put, I'm decided by my clients because if they don't want coffee, I can't make them. Absolutely, 100%. I think that's probably more of a sales orientated point there as well, Sue. If people aren't buying your products or services, completely agree with you. Your business is probably going to slow down and your revenue is not going to be there. What we do upstairs when that happens and how we control our mindset around that is what I really want to try and understand. Because right now, I've got the belief that if not one person ever buys our product again and we go under, that was meant to be. And I know that's a really weird mindset to have because I never used to feel like that. But what I'm doing is looking for other opportunities. What I would do straight away is be going, what the hell have I learned over the last 10 years in this industry? What the hell, what can I do now? Am I a different person to what I used to be? So I guess the purpose of this webinar is really to try and get you into that growth mindset. I want you to jump off here in 45 minutes to an hour's time, wherever you are in the world, with a little bit more of a positive outlook on everything, because I'm sure you've all got your TVs on. If they're in the background, turn it off. I don't want any distraction because I know what's on there. It's negativity. And I'm not saying, like I say, we're not separating ourselves from reality. Just for 1 hour, let's try and put some positivity back into your lives. It's a time to reset, an opportunity for you guys to work on you. The idea of being cooped up for the next 60 to 90 days, that excites me. The reason it excites me is because I got told that it takes roughly 66 days for you to form new habits. You've now been forced to form those new habits because you never had time before, did you? Well, now you do. So next question. And I want to make this interactive if I can. For those of you that are now being forced to work from home, talk to me about your commute. I just want you to type in the chat right there, and you know this is a leading question, but how long does it normally take you to commute to and from work? So just type in the answer there. So to and from work. So for me, I'm probably saving around about 40 minutes a day. Chris, an hour each way. Wow. Sue, so that's 20. Is that 20 each way, Sue, or just 20 all up? Diane, 15 minutes each way, 35. Christy, 5 minutes, just go to the back of the house. Beatrix, an hour to the first client. So yeah, 1 hour each way. There's some traveling going on here, guys. Wow. I used to do that in the UK. I think a lot of you know my backstory. I was an engineer for 8 years in the UK, and I used to travel 45 minutes to an hour each way, then do a 12-hour night shift. Sam on Facebook, an hour and 30 minutes each way, mate. Wow. Fair play to you. Okay. Now, if you are not looking at that as opportunity, you are missing a trick. You're missing a trick. For me, right now, I've got 35 to 40 minutes extra in my day. I mean, let's take an average of that. We've got an hour and a half, some hour each way. There's 2 hours. We've got 5 minutes. Let's say, I don't know, 45. If you're getting 45 minutes each, 45 minutes each back every single day for those of you that are now not traveling to work. That's almost 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week, 16 hours a month. If this goes on for 60 days, which is some of the numbers that have been branded around, a couple of months, and we're isolated, you've now got 30 plus hours worth of time back in your life to work on you. Now, what you decide to do with those 30 hours is up to you. The scarcity mindset will be panicking, watching TV, reading through social media channels, reading every single meme that probably isn't even factually true. The growth mindset people are working on them. So I guess the obvious part there is it's all well and good saying that, Ryan, but you need the discipline to be able to see that through. And one thing I will say before I go into the challenges, right now, if you are concerned about businesses, your business, your revenue, I want you to pick up, even if the one thing you take away from this whole webinar is you need to be spending a disproportionate amount of your time on revenue generating tasks. A disproportionate. And when I say disproportionate, I'm talking 80-90% of your time right now needs to be on revenue generating tasks. Because if you normally close, let's pick a number, 1 in 10. Let's say you close 10%. You're closing 1 in 10 people you speak to. Right now, with the economy the way it is, you probably need to speak to double the amount to make the same amount of sales. So you need to double the amount of time that you're spending on revenue generating tasks. Everything else has to be put aside. Even if it's just, okay, it might not last 60 days, but I think it's always better to kind of over prepare and say, this is going to go on for 2 months. Without sales, business fails. If your business goes under in 60 days, you should be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could. Everything I could. And if you're focusing on little bits of marketing collateral and sending emails here and there, you're missing a trick. Pick up the phone, talk to another human being, because that's where your sales are going to be made. So that wasn't really part of what I was going to talk about, but I'm just very passionate, obviously, about you guys surviving. 65% of businesses in Australia go under in 3 years anyway. 95% go under in 5 years. It doesn't need to happen if we spend the right amount of time on actually generating revenue and making sales. Josie, learning new techniques, that's what you're going to be doing over the next 60 days, I'm hoping is what you meant from that. So, bit of interaction again. The challenges that I've got, and I've written a few down, and I want you to kind of add to these for me. So, I got my team to actually give me their challenges this week on what they've struggled with since we started doing this on Monday. And they put, number 1 was getting themselves in the right mindset so they feel that they're at work. Getting in the right mindset. Number 2 was lack of accountability. We've got some great measures for accountability, which I'll share with you. These are in no particular order now, by the way, after the first one. But number 3 was distractions at home. There's lots of them. Keeping energy levels high without other people around you. I admire the people that work in isolation. I'm an introvert by nature. I like working by myself, but I like to know that there's people out there in the distance that I can go and just kind of feed off some of their energy every now and then. Hear the sales floor bouncing, hear the sales bell ringing. I like that. So not having that was a challenge. Internet problems. Who's having internet problems? You got those robotic conversations you're having via Zoom and it sounds like you're underwater. Yeah, we're all having a few of them. Hopefully not on this right now. And then another one that came up was being in a windowless box. Kevin and Ralph both having those problems. Being in a windowless box, what do I look at? So I'm pretty fortunate here that I've got my garden behind me. I've got a little bit to look at, but obviously got a few tips on how we can overcome that as well. Hey Ken on Facebook, good to see you, mate. All right, so I want you to share in the chat now, guys. Apart from those ones, or you can validate it as well, and on Facebook as well. What are your challenges? What are you really struggling with? And if I don't have it in one of my top 10 tips, let's see if we can kind of get some advice out there. Or also, if somebody types something in now, and you overcome that, let's share it. Let's help each other. This is a community. The biggest challenges. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds or so to write something in there. Chrissy, time our business has taken this step. So, Chris, do you mean the transition of this? Or so the time it's taken the business to actually say, hey, we're going to work from home? Wayne, consistency, sticking to a plan based on your goals. Confinement helps, okay, so that's a positive, Diane. So confinement helps you write better marketing ideas. Paul James, paying staff whilst working away from home and not being able to manage productivity. Yeah, have you police what they're actually doing? Rick Asher, connectivity dropouts. Yeah. Eliza, distractions and jumping from task to task. Big one, I'm going to cover that. Michael, safety. That's important. Really important. Christy, overcoming other scarcity mindset when I'm very much in a huge point. Christy, I'm just going to write that down. That's kind of, you're leaning me towards objection handling now. We're going to go into sales training, which I quite like doing. Ian, never take your eyes off your goals. I'm going to cover that, Ian. You've read my notes. Matt, keeping up positivity and transfer healthy energy and vibes to the customer. Not getting too caught up on the, oh yeah, how's it affecting you? Yeah, no, it's a tough spell, hey. Just gonna have to batten down the hatches. Sometimes you bring up the objection yourself and they weren't thinking that. You've turned them into an objection. Luke, other at-home tasks that you might have your eye on, doing the laundry. My dogs needed brushing for a while. Maybe I'll just do that instead of making that sales call. Liam, second to Christy's comment. Yeah, I think it's a good point. Helping clients see our borders won't be closed forever. I'm in immigration. Christy, that's good to hear. Skyle, roles to fill drying up due to uncertainty. Yeah, so much uncertainty. Keeping up everybody positive and trying to show that I'm being very hygienic. Yes, that's educating your consumer, right? Ian, yeah, behind me. Don't do that, man. I'm getting freaked out with these windows behind me. Josie, confirming that you are here for the clients for support. Okay, essentially it's business as usual, right? I'm going to put that in. I don't think I had that one down, but that's a really good point. Maybe I did as I go through, but we'll see. And so communication to your network, that it is business as usual. Nothing is really changing for me. As an organization, yeah, we're pivoting, but your service and our deliverables are not going to change. And then final one I'll read out before I move on is Wayne, in-person customers trust me quickly as they can sense who I am. On the phone, online, so much harder. Wayne, if you are in our online academy, please, straight after this, go to the tonality webinar or indeed the tonality section in our program, because it will help you master communicating a level of trust over the phone. Your ability to communicate value and trust over the phone is 91% your tone of voice and 9% words. 91% tone and 9% words. So now, more than ever, every single one of us needs to be able to master the art of tonality, because if we lose the face-to-face interaction, we lose our ability to actually build trust consciously and unconsciously. So please, Wayne, go and do that straight after. Okay, so I'm going to work through my top 10 tips of how to, I'm not going to call it work from home, just how to maximize this opportunity. I actually believe this will massively change the way we do business together around the world. Because what a lot of you are going to realize, which is something that I realized about 4 years ago, that myself and my business partner, Jack, we started a real estate business. We were told, you look too young, Jack's covered in tattoos, you guys will not be able to succeed in the real estate investment world. And then they said to us, you will never be able to make a sale without going out and visiting somebody, without doing an in-home, or without taking people on a run to see the property. We sold 7 properties in the first 2 weeks, and we did everything over the phone. Now, we proved that instantly. So what I think is going to happen with the world right now, I think there's going to be more and more people that are going to start doing business like this as opposed to going to do face-to-faces. Why? Because you get to do more sales opportunities. You can speak to 10 people in a day instead of 2 people a day. And if you get very good at it, you'll actually be able to double, triple, quadruple your revenue. So I think this is going to change the way we do business, which is why I see this as a massive opportunity right now. So tip number 1, and if you don't have a piece of paper, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get yourself a piece of paper. If you're writing it in your phone, Liam, I'm assuming that's what you're doing, or you're tagging me on social media. If you are, do it right now. Feel free to share this all over the world. Okay, tip number 1. Hang on, I wrote a real long headline, so I'm going to shorten this. Create work anchors. Create work anchors. And I'll elaborate what I mean by that. Just type a quick yes or no if you've heard of a mental anchor before. You know what I mean by that. If you don't, please be honest. Well, awesome. Okay, cool. So a mental anchor is almost a stimulant for a behavior that you're about to take. So when you wear a shirt and it reminds you of a previous experience, it might be like if I was to wear my wedding suit, it's a bright red suit, so I probably wouldn't wear it very often. But if I was to wear my wedding suit, it's going to remind me instantly of my wedding day, which is going to induce feelings of excitement, happiness, fulfillment, love. That's an anchor. Let me just who was talking there? I think it was Christy. So that's an anchor. The same way, I don't know if any of you drink. Maybe you drank tequila one day. I had tequila when I was 20 something. It didn't sit well with me. It made me sick. So now when I smell tequila, that's an anchor. So I don't do it because it reminds me of the day that I got pretty sick drinking tequila. That's an anchor. So what we need to do is create work anchors to get us in the right mindset to actually perform the same duties that we would do once we walk into the office. Because you know, when you walk into the office, all of a sudden it's game time. You're switched on. So the types of anchors that I want you to think about. Number 1, you work from the exact same space every single day. That might seem really obvious, but you need a working area. You've seen Dirty Dancing where it's like, that's your space, this is my space. This is I'm showing my age now. This is my workspace. When I am in here, I'm in my work mode. So work from the exact same space every single day. Number 2, let's see who's doing this. Some of you don't have your videos on. I guarantee you there's 60 odd people in here right now, up to 80 odd all over the place. I promise you somebody's in their pajamas somewhere right now. I know it for a fact. I was hoping it was going to be Ken and Zane, but it wasn't. They put their camera on right there. I dread to think what Ken's pajamas look like. They're definitely silk of some sort. Anyway, I died. board shorts. Okay, so my next one is wear the same clothes that you would for work. Wear the same clothes. I've still got a shirt on. I've still got trousers. I've still got shoes on. But my aircon doesn't work. All right, don't put your pants on, but wear a shirt. Where you need to have that anchor that I'm going to work. On Monday, my wife said to me, she said, what are you putting a shirt on for? Because I'm going to work. And then I'll get to this, but I'm literally waving goodbye to her. I'm going to the next room. Number 3, actually, I'm going to ask this question, Sue from the waist down. No, I'm going to ask this question. Honestly, let's be really honest with each other right now. Since you've been working from home, who is still getting up at exactly the same time as they did before when they had to work from an office? Type a quick yes or no. Kevin is. Tracy's not. Tracy. Okay, Ken said he was. Same time. Good. Eamon, no. Yeah, Christy, having kids is the best way to do that. 6 a.m. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, Wayne, 20 minutes later. That gives you 20 minutes in the morning, Wayne. Get on, watch that tonality webinar. You'll be able to finish it in 3 days. So Mike and Christy are having an argument about who takes the kids to school. So Mike, actually, you can tell us, does Christy genuinely get up at the same time? So the reason I asked that question is you need that's your routine. You need to have the exact same routine because they'll induce the exact same feelings, which will induce the right behaviors. Same breakfast, same routine, same education, whatever it may be. That will then lead me on to another anchor, your break times. Now, I know for a lot of us, and for me, I don't actually have a break time. I'm really bad for going a whole day with not eating, which is why I'm a skinny bugger. I just kind of get caught up in the day, and before I know it, it's 5 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, I should have probably had something to eat today. So what I've had to do is actually set myself the specific times that the rest of the team would have their breaks. Do it. It's another anchor. Do it exactly the same as you would do at work. Final couple of things in here. And I said it in jest earlier, but it really helped me as a trigger. I said goodbye to my wife, my spouse, I put spouse, as though I was going to work. So I kissed my son on the head, I said goodbye to her, and I literally walked into my office, which is next door to our playroom, and shut the door. And that was it. I said, I'll see you at 5 o'clock. And I think she thought I was joking. And she saw me just after 5 o'clock. So I said that I was going to work. A couple of other things. Take home your office comforts. So if you've got a laptop stand, if you've got a mug that you always use at work, you've got your headset that you use. Like I could have used my mobile phone, but no, I brought my headset home because that makes me feel, as soon as I've got that headset on, I'm in work mode. So take home your home comforts if you can. Wayne, save travel time, transfer to exercise, and learn new things online as you do it. Awesome. And then the final one around tip number 1, which is creating anchors, is have a shutdown routine. Have a shutdown routine. There's something called work creep, which doesn't sound very nice because everybody's probably got a work creep. It doesn't mean that. It means when your work, Zane, I've got you. And what it means is your work can start to creep into your personal life when you work from home, and it can start to really affect other aspects of your life. You have to be very careful of that. Yes, Sue, they're all out there. So I'm guilty of this. One of the best bits of advice I've ever had was from one of our investors, Dr. Glenn Richards, and it was around about work-life balance and that not existing. Some of you will have heard me speak about that before, but focusing on counterbalance. And I'm going to lean into that shortly on how we then have a shutdown routine. So 5 o'clock, this is me finished. You write down your tasks for the next day, blah, blah, blah. You know it's time to switch off and it's family time. It's important we get this. For those of you that have been to our office, you'll know our receptionist, Michelle. She's actually a qualified doctor, a GP. And she said this is one of the biggest causes of stress and anxiety is that people don't actually have a complete switch off period. So she wanted me to hammer home that message to you guys tonight. All right, tip number 2. Now, for those of you that have been in our academy for a while, this is something that I preach about a lot, and it's called the Ivy Lee method. I'll type it in there for you. Ivy Lee method. Now, in brackets next to that, you can just put, in layman's terms, create a task list. Create a task list. That might seem like a really obvious one. Yes, Ken, I will do, mate. I'm going to go into it shortly when I go into my next point, but I'll definitely share it with you. So Ken just asked if I'll share the shutdown routine. I will do. So the Ivy Lee method. So I won't go too far into the background of it, but in a nutshell, it was a productivity and procrastination expert that used to go into businesses and help them reduce the amount of procrastination. And he did one thing and one thing only. At the end of every single day, you grab your notepad. So right now, after this, if this is the end of your day, you grab your notepad and you write down the 6 major tasks that you must complete tomorrow. The 6 major tasks that you must be in the operative word there, you must complete tomorrow. Then after that, you diarize them. get them in your calendar. And you diarize them in order of importance. Now, I said to you guys, the most important thing for you right now is revenue generating tasks. So your order of importance should be, you might put a little, when you write down your 6 tasks, do a little $ next to every single one of them that is directly revenue generating, which is going to increase your opportunity of making a sale. And those dollar ones automatically go to the top. Then you eat the frog. Some of you have heard of Mr. Brian Tracy. He wrote a book called Eat That Frog. Now, what that means is do the worst thing first. I had a conversation with one of my accelerator clients earlier, and he doesn't really like cold calling, which is strange because cold calling is so much fun, right? So his Eat the Frog every single day is to do 20 cold outreaches every single day. It was 10 before, now he's jumped up, doubled that up for him. It's 20. Get it out of the way, and then once you've eaten the frog, you've done the worst thing first, everything else should be a lot easier throughout the course of the day. And then the final tip, which I've kind of added on to the Ivy Lee method, is something that I needed to do personally because I do get distracted, was to break up my larger tasks into 15 to 60 minute segments or blocks. So if you know that you're easily distracted, break them up into 15 minutes. Now, another way I got told to do it earlier on, somebody said what they do is they know they have 4 or 5 coffees or whatever a day, that they will give themselves real short tasks that when they go and put the kettle on, they know they've got 2 or 3 minutes, they'll go and do that task in that time, rather than just standing next to the kettle or the pot, depending on where you're from in the world, to actually complete that task. So the point there is, once you've got your Ivy Lee method, you break them down into short, small segments, preferably no more than 1 hour. No more than 1 hour, because you're giving yourself more chance to get distracted. All right, now that might lean into the next one. Tip number 3, schedule everything. I cannot emphasize the everything more. Obviously, I don't mean toilet breaks. Schedule everything apart from toilet breaks. Now, this is the rule that Glenn Richards gave me, and I'm going to type it in here for you. Again, some of you might have heard me talking about this before. 30, 30, 30, 10. 30, 30, 30, 10 rule. And this was because I was looking for elusive work-life balance, which does not exist. Stop looking for it. It doesn't exist categorically. What does exist is counterbalance. You can be either all in, I'm doing all of one task, I'm all in at work, or I'm all at home. By the way, I'm going to preempt this because my wife went to pick my son up from kindy about 15 minutes ago, and I know she's going to walk in any moment now just to prove some sort of weird sadistic point around about distraction from working from home. So that will happen. So right now I'm all in at work. But the way my day is broken up is to do 30%, and you want to write these down individually. 30% of my time is spent doing my job. Now, I'm a sales coach. So if you think about, let's talk about a 50-hour week, just for round numbers, make it nice and easy. I would schedule out in my week 15 hours, 30%, for sales training, for actual coaching. That's something like this right now. This is scheduled in. This is not just come out of the blue. I already had these hours available. We have put on an extra webinar. This would have been used by me for training other people, physical training sessions. We decided to do this instead. But I have those 15 hours at the start of the week blocked out for doing my job, whatever your job is. The next 30 is working with or training my team. So 30% of my time is spent working with or training my team. Especially if you're going to be helping them make sales, drive revenue at this stage. Now, if you do not have a team, guess what? That 30% goes back to you. It's another 15 hours now back to you to do the next one, which is 30% of your time doing business development. Business development, also known as making sales. Driving revenue. So So for me, there's a few aspects for me, because as the owner of the business, as somebody that creates new content all the time, business development might be working on the user experience for people within our online program. It might be creating new content for the online program. So for you guys, if you don't need to do that, you don't have a team, I would literally be throwing all of those other percentages into the first one, which might be doing your job and just making sales. There might be a portion where you still need to deliver. Oh, right on cue. All right, come on, let's get to it quickly. Come on. Hold on, guys. Sorry, my distraction is here. Hey, say hello to everybody. Want to wave? Oh, he's frozen. He's not frozen, he's just terrified. Wave to everybody. There's little Maverick. All right, good boy. Okay, distraction number one. They're real, they happen. Okay, so Christy's same haircut, I know. It helps when your wife's a hairdresser. It saves you an absolute fortune. Until the government says that you're not allowed within 1.5 meters of people, and she's got to get some really long scissors to do her job. That's going to make life really hard. So think about the 30, 30, 30, 10. The final 10% is on you. Breaks. You have to be taking your breaks. And also, therefore, when crap hits the fan, yeah? Because it's going to happen. That's for variables. Sorry, the last 30% was business development, Eamon. So that might be working on the user experience within your business. It might be making sales, so 15 hours of the... So this is just for me, by the way, guys. You need to make this your own. But the point is, it's very structured. So 30% of my time delivering training, 30% of my time training and working with my team, 30% of my time doing business development and sales. So that's like 15 hours, 15 hours, 15 hours. And then the last 10%, 5 hours, is spent on me. So that's a little bit of downtime in between, catching up on emails and so on and so forth. But it's very, very structured. And what I will also say in there as well, please schedule in, and it might be in the second 30%, schedule in time to speak to your colleagues. It probably comes down to, I can't remember who said communication now, but the communication with the outside world is extremely important, but communication with your internal team right now is more important than ever. They are looking at you as a leader, as somebody to stay calm and not panic, and reassure them. So you need to be speaking to them way more than you probably usually are. We have scheduled 8 a.m. group Zoom meetings, and then 4:30 p.m. afternoon whips, work in progress, where we actually talk to each other as well. But again, it's all scheduled, so people can't book over it. All right. Any other questions on scheduling? Can I move on to tip number 4? Just give me a quick yes if I can move on. Yeah. Easy. Ken Blowfield, yes sir. Number 4. This was the best investment I ever made about 3 years ago, and it was into an accountability coach. So number 4 is accountability. You need to find yourself a work from home buddy, a WFH buddy. And I want you to write down next to that, who is your work from home buddy going to be? Don't tell me, just write it down. Just write down the name of 2 or 3 people that you think you could reach out to, that are of the same mindset as you, that are of a growth mindset, that you think would actually hold you accountable to what you say you're going to achieve each day and each week. Don't find that gym buddy that when you call them and say, hey mate, I don't really feel like it today. And they go, yeah, me neither. We'll do it next week, don't worry. You know who you are. They're not the right accountability person for you. It has been proven that if you have somebody hold you accountable to your goals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, you are over 70% more likely to complete them. I had the most productive year of my life a few years ago when I got my accountability coach. I paid a lot of money for him. He would text me on a Monday morning and he said to me, Ryan, what are your goals for the week? And then on Friday, I would speak to him and he would say, how did you go? Just knowing that phone call was coming meant that Thursdays were pretty productive, and I would get a lot done. Same as every single Monday morning as a team, we go through our goals from last week and what we're going to achieve next week. That's an accountability group that we've got going on. If you're struggling with that, obviously you guys that are in the academy, that are in the exclusive package, you have your accountability coach. Use them more than ever right now. So you want to send them your daily tasks. So when we do our Ivy Lee method, it's as easy as just text them. Just text it over to them. Even if they don't reply, I promise you, the thought that somebody else out there now knows what you're doing today will make you want to complete it even more. So just verbalizing it and share them. So tip number 4 is get somebody to hold you accountable. All right, tip number 5, mindset. We've alluded to it a couple of times. Yes, Sue, really, honestly, change the game, accountability. Mindset. I want you to somehow believe, the way that I believe, that we are so fortunate as business owners. I know there might be some of you, hey Susie on Facebook, there might be some of you that are working from home, or you might have been laid off, and if that's the case, it might not be pertinent to you right now, but for everybody else where you can actually run your business from home or virtually, we are in a fortunate position. There are a lot of people out there that cannot do that, and they're about to genuinely lose their jobs unless they haven't done already. So my mindset, and it was at an event I went to and I spoke at. Cheers, Matt. It was an event I spoke at in Perth about 2 weeks ago. And one of the speakers actually said, it was Julian, said, I want you to change your mindset to I get to, not I have to. I get to, not I have to. And it was a real it was a beautiful moment for me to realize that we get the opportunity to continue working through all of this stress. I don't have to do it via Zoom. I get to do it via Zoom. This is amazing. I get to train people all around the world via Zoom. I don't have to. And I think if we can change our mindset there and we see this as an opportunity, that will make you want to maximize every single day anyway. Tip number 6, preparation. This is a real quick one. Preparation is key. Now, what I started to realize by Tuesday, and my wife did share a story on Instagram with me having a few not so nutritional meals and snacks around me, shall we say, on this desk, is having any drinks, snacks or lunch ready the day before, like you would do for work. So I used to prep my lunch for work before I went to work the night before. Why wouldn't I do that when I'm in the office? And then I would have to go to the kitchen, I'd go in the fridge and I'd be like, what am I gonna have? Don't do that. Make sure that you're prepared. Make your lunch the day before. If you're going to drink 3 bottles of water or 3 liters of water a day, make sure that you have them all ready for yourself as well. So number 6 is just preparation. Have everything set. So when you walk in, say, I walk into this office in the morning, I've got my Ivy Lee method. It's there. It's sitting there right in front of me, ready to go. I've got my snacks ready to go. I can shut that door. I don't need to leave unless I want to go and get some fresh air. All right, number 7, and this one really came from our doctor, is think about your health. Please, please think about your health. And I'm sure Liam will be a big advocate of this one. There's no excuse for no physical exercise. I'm sure Liam's got some amazing, so Liam Davini I'm talking about right now, he's got some amazing online programs and Zoom coaching that he can do where he doesn't have to touch you he doesn't touch you anyway, by the way, but what I mean is he doesn't get physically close to you, where you can actually do workouts from home, so no excuse. But on top of that, I broke this down into 4 sections. Number 1, take regular breaks. Around about 55 minutes to an hour. Every 55 minutes to an hour, you should at least be getting up and having a bit of a walk around. Liam's a big fan. Drink 3 liters of water. I personally still find this one tough. It's one of my daily non-negotiables. I struggle. 3 liters is a lot of water, by the way, guys. It's actually tough, but if it's there, it's in front of me, it's written as a goal, I'll do it. Go for a walk outside during that 55-minute break. Sue, you've had no water today. No. Go and get some water immediately. A 10% lack of hydration will lead to a 70% lack of concentration. Michael has written, there is water in beer. There is. I don't know if I should go on record as Sue's gone to get some water. Amazing. There we go. We're taking action, or she's just ran off. I don't know. One or the other. And then The final one I've put here for think about your health is personal development. Personal development, and I've alluded to it a few times. This is a fantastic opportunity for you guys to work on you. Imagine coming out of all of this mayhem and this chaos in 4, 6, 10, 12 weeks, whatever it may be, and you've got a new skill. You can play a new instrument. You can speak a new language. Whatever it may be. We've now already realized, and you should have it written down, how much free time you've freed up for yourself. So whether we like it or not, this virus has actually removed all of your excuses. One of the biggest reasons we get for people not doing training is, Ryan, I don't have the time. We ask you to commit 15 minutes a day. I know everybody wastes 15 minutes a day anyway, before all of this chaos happened. So right now, we think about what have you always wanted to do? Did you want to learn a new language? Do you want to go and play a new instrument? Do you genuinely want to work on your sales processes? Is that something that you really want to do? But for those of you that know my story, you know that I went on a 60-day stretching program back in 2011 when I was really struggling in sales. And when I was working, when I was going through that 60-day stretching program, I realized that sales was a process with a formula. And I went from 21st salesperson to first in 5 weeks. But in 60, and it wasn't even 60 days, it was 5 weeks. But because I committed to it, I had it in my mind that it was 60 days. So if you say to yourself right now, maybe we've got 60 days of this, maybe we've got 90. If you know that it takes 66 days to form a habit, why not start working on you today when we've got excuses removed? I understand there's other pressures, I understand there's other stresses, but focus on what you can control, and that's the time that you've been given back. You either fill it with stress or you fill it with something that's productive. Number eight, remove distractions. Another obvious one. And the biggest distractions I see, and I can't see any in the background anywhere, I'm looking, are TV and radio. Yeah. Andy and Ralph, is there a TV there? There's some light coming through your window. TV and radio, that's where you hear all these stories and all this, the world's going to end chat. Remove it completely. But I do recommend having music on. Yes, Sue, perfect. Yeah, definitely recommend having. Michael's written beer again. He's having a very good time. No YouTube. Yeah, okay, Ralph, good point. A really good point. So music, but music with no ads. Because the ads are going to subliminally get into you and they distract you. I promise they will do. So set yourself a playlist. That might be a task for tonight. Go and set yourself an 8-hour playlist where there's just some background music ticking along. For those of you that have heard of the Grow and Transfer, you'll know that in supermarkets, they play certain music at certain times to speed you up or slow you down. When they want to get you in, they want to get you out. So think about the music you're listening to as well. If you're listening to a bit of gangster rap, nothing against gangster rap, Michael Reel, but there might not be some things in there that are conducive to a productive workspace. I like a bit of jazz. That's all right. That's just me. I've got a TV there, but I have the jazz channel in the background, and that puts me in a decent mood to be productive as well. So I'm actually partial to a bit of country every now and then as well, but my wife absolutely hates it, so I don't get to listen to too much of that. Beatrix, we have the radio on in the office. I would try and go away from the radio if possible, because whether you think it's going in or not, I promise you it is. That's why people pay so much to advertise on radio. It's subliminal selling to you. The last few things in distractions, I've got shut down your emails. So have, Christia, I think instrumental is obviously better. Anything with a lyric is going to distract you 100%. Michelle on our reception has been playing what Liam's just wrote there, classical piano. She's been having some sort of Beethoven going on in reception, and it feels bloody amazing when you walk in our reception. I just feel that it is a little bit like a massage parlor at times. There's a fine line, so you got to be very careful with that. But it is very relaxing, and it puts me at ease. It makes me feel calm and relaxed in this crazy world that we're in. So I guess that's just a personal choice, Christy. Can you show how to shut down email? Yes. So yeah, the next one was shut down your emails. So don't just minimize it. Right click over, if you're on mail, right click on it and press quit. And do that until you get to your power hour of administration. Now, again, for those of you that are in the academy, go to daily structure, go to documents, go to daily structure, download that document. And in there, you'll see that we have what's called power hours. And we actually schedule times for administration. That is the only time you open your emails, because it's so easy when you're on a task, you've got a bit of momentum. Like, I know you've been on sales calls and all of a sudden an email comes through, and then you just look at it whilst you're on the call. You're like, oh, they don't know if I'm reading an email. I promise you, at that point, you're not with your customer. You are missing buying signals. So it's called the daily structure. So if you go into documents on the left-hand side in the academy, go to daily structure, download it, and it will give you the power hours. So yeah, have scheduled set times for reading your emails. If you've got somebody that cannot wait more than 2 hours or 3 hours for you to reply to their email, they're probably not the right customer for you. Like, I coach for 5 hours straight during when I go out to businesses, and I can't reply to emails. So you have to condition your network and condition your market that will be the case. I might take a couple of hours to get back to your email, but I will always get back to you. And then you can even tell them, these are the times I go on and I read my emails. But the key is there to make sure you shut down those as a distraction, because I promise you, if there's a little red number on your emails in the corner of your computer and it says 4, I'm one of those people that needs to click on it. So I just have to shut them down. And that leads me onto the next one, which is, I kind of touched on it then, educate the people in your household of your daily routine and your schedule. This is really important as well. You can take it this far. You can put it on the fridge. I could just say to Alicia, I could put it on the fridge, say, these are the times you can visit me. This is my breaks, these are my lunch. Unless something drastic happens, I'm working. This is my business. Nothing changes, business as usual. So you need to let the people around you know that, hey, this is my working environment, and these are the times that you can come. I understand if we live in confined spaces, that's easier said than done. Like, I totally respect that. But as much as possible, let them know, hey, from 8 o'clock until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, these are my working hours. I'll have a lunch here if you need anything. And then the final one, which is something that got recommended to me, which I haven't done just yet, so I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, but have a separate work phone if possible. Have a separate work phone if possible. Because when you look at your phone, you've got all those little apps there, and then you see the Facebook app and it says a little red number 3 next to it, and you go, oh, just quickly, and before you know it, you're watching a monkey ride a camel on YouTube or something. You don't even know how you got there. It's so easily done. It's just the way the brain works. So if you can have a separate work phone, and that means your personal work phone and your personal phone until you're due to have a break, it goes away somewhere. It goes in a drawer. All right, last 2 tips, guys. Number 9, use video chat where possible. Do this. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Video chat where possible. Use Zoom, use Skype, use WhatsApp, use whatever you can. The one that I would veer away from is Messenger, because that allows you to get distracted by other things as well. The key point of this is that it still gives you that human interaction. The feeling of isolation is real. Like, if you don't speak to another human being, like, I understand what my wife went through. No, I don't. Actually, I should never say that. I've got half an understanding of what my wife might have went through when we had the baby, that she was not talking to other human beings for a long time and just talking to the baby. You need that human interaction. I'm going to get murdered for saying that. You need that human interaction. So if you can do this with clients, instead of picking up the phone, if you want to get them on a Zoom, do that as well. So then you still get that body language, you still get that personal touch, and you can still feel that sincerity. And then number 10, I think it's something that somebody said earlier on as well. It might have been Ian Verico, was have your goals visible as a vision board at all times. Have your goals visible at all times. Yeah, Sue, exactly right. It's better than a phone call. So when you can see your goals, so I have mine on my computer at all times tucked away, and I can see them. So when it's just reminding you of your why. Why are you doing this in the first place, you know? Because it is really easy in times like this just to throw the towel in and go, what's the point? Well, the point is all of those goals that you wrote down at the start of the year. The point is the family that you're trying to help, your kids that you want to take on holiday, the impact that you truly want to make on other people. That's the point. And sometimes we just need to be reminded of that. So having your goals visible at all times. If you haven't got goals written down, please, straight after this as well, go to goal setting in the academy, download those documents, watch those videos, and start writing your goals this instant. It will give you an instant dopamine hit, just the fact that you've got things out of your head and on a piece of paper. All right. Goal, survive this year. No, Sue, goal is to thrive this year, not to survive. If you aim to survive, you'll fall short. If you aim to thrive, you'll survive. So I want you to think bigger. Your aim is to thrive this year. And thriving, look at, during the GFC in Australia, 640,000 businesses went under. And that's not there to scare you. That was out of 2 million businesses back then. 640,000 businesses went under. The ones that survived were the ones that actually went harder during the period. They went all in. They innovated, they pivoted, they truly believed they could get out of it. They utilized technology, they utilized the cloud-based software and stuff that we live in, stuff that I didn't know about. And they were the ones that thrived. And they thrived because when you come out of a period like this, the same as the GFC, and you're now known as a company that survived Corona 2020, all of a sudden that stands you in good stead. People are going to look at you differently. I promise you they will. The amount of people that have said to me, Ryan, it's all right for you. You haven't even been through a GFC just yet. Well, guess what? We're going to go through one right now. That's cool. So my aim is not to survive it. My aim is to thrive it. And that's a mindset thing as well. Okay, so they're my top 10 tips, guys. Just in the chat, really quickly, have a quick scan through your notes. And before I give you our gift, I want you to write down what was your takeaway from that? What has stood out from you? And what are the 1 or 2 things that you can actually implement there as well? Thanks everybody on Facebook that's still with me. We're almost there, guys. Thanks for joining me. Looks like my dad's on as well. Hey, great. Up nice and early as always. Cheers, Wayne. Optimism is key. Realistic optimism, Chris, right? Separate work and personal time 100%. Shutdown routine. Oh, yeah. I'll come, Ken. Shutdown routine. Work anchors. Admin. Christy, re-inspired. Thank you, Christy. That is the aim. Cut out distractions. Okay, so my shutdown routine. Make it really, because Ken's been asking for that, and I don't want him thinking I dodged it because he will call me on it. So my shutdown routine is this. I first and foremost, I will address every single email that needs to be replied to today. And when I say today, I'm focusing on revenue generating tasks for today. And then I will actually close down my email account. So that for me, when I actually quit my emails, that's a shutdown trigger of my end of the day. Can I get to rather than I have to? Awesome. Tracy, be accountable to someone and get someone be accountable to you. Awesome. These are good takeaways, by the way, guys. Thanks for sharing. My next part is to write down my Ivy Lee method. As soon as I start writing my Ivy Lee, my 6 tasks for tomorrow, I know that I'm veering towards the end of my day. And then what I don't do anymore. So just so you guys know, my end of the day is 5 to 5:15, and then from 5:15 till 8 o'clock is my family time. So I will then put Maverick to bed and shower him and we feed him, and then I will have an hour with Alicia, and then by 8 o'clock until 11, I'm actually back in the office again. So I've got two shutdown points. I've got a shutdown 1. And then I've got a shutdown 2. So my shutdown 1, and yours might be different. My shutdown 1 is where I do everything I just said there, revenue generating tasks. And my shutdown 2 is almost exactly the same, but I'm actually completing all the other emails that can be dealt with. So any sort of fringe emails. And then I'm writing out my Ivy Lee method. And then I'm between 5 and 8, I close my computer and I do not take it out of this office. It doesn't leave here. It's gone. The door is shut. And that's as simple as it is, mate. 2 shutdowns are real. Yeah, I've got shutdown, open back up again. The reality is, since I had a baby, Rakesh, like you know, you can't grow a global enterprise 9 to 5. I don't care what you say, like there's a lot that needs to go into it, but I also want to make sure that I'm present for my family. And that's the counterbalance that Glenn gave me, is that between this hour and this hour, I'm all in with my family. 5:15 till 8 o'clock is family time, and then 8 till 11. Alicia understands that, and that's the way that I work. Do you completely shut down during weekends? No, I do not, Ken. I've got a period after swimming with Maverick in the morning where he will sleep for roughly 2 to 3 hours. Alicia we are in a hair and beauty salon as well. Alicia does clients in that time, so she books in around when he's asleep. And when he's asleep, I will work for about 2 hours on a Saturday as well. Yeah, but again, it's just a system that everybody knows. Christy, any chance of doing a webinar on closing sales in a coronavirus environment? Absolutely. Yeah, 100% will do that for you. All right, final thing, guys. I did promise you a gift, and I'm going to finish with this. Thank you, Sue. I really, really appreciate that. I'm going to make it really easy. I'm just going to share my screen with you. I've got a gift for you guys, and it looks a little bit like this. We've created our own 60-day stretching program. A lot of people reference that as part of my journey. They reference it as an anchor for them wanting to join us. They go, Ryan, if you did that in 60 days, maybe I could do the same. But what we've never had is an actual 60-day stretching program that is such a low barrier of entry that can help everybody. So for today, I've put together a 60-day stretching program for you guys. And so it's basically our online academy for you guys that are already in there. You can actually piggyback this onto what you're already doing. And it's going to give you access to every single piece of content that we've ever created in text, audio, video, assessments, these live coaching webinars every single week for the next 60 days. So if you are locked away, and hopefully we're not, but if we are locked away for the next 60 days, and you wanted to work on you from a sales perspective, fantastic. This is just an option for you. If you want to work on you from another perspective, also fantastic. Please just do something. Take some action and use this time to work on you. We have reduced the barrier of entry to this all the way down to just $330, $330. This program ranges from $1,500 to $3,000. So this is the lowest entry point we've ever had for this. If you do want to take advantage of that, the code is PA60day, PA60day, and that stands for Premium Academy 60 Day. So you go to the website, isrtraining.com.au, hover over our training, and I'll leave this up there for a few seconds. If you want to take a screenshot of it, you certainly can. Click on the Swish Academy, then hover, choose an option, choose premium, add to cart, add that coupon code, and then click proceed to cart. You will have instant access to everything. Guys, I hope you found that valuable. I'll leave that screen up there for those of you that need it. As always, any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the best one to get me on. If you go on Instagram, you're just going to see hundreds and hundreds of pictures of my baby boy, which some of you might like to see as well. So thank you sincerely for your time. I hope you genuinely stay safe. I hope you stay well. And I'm confident that with the right support and the right people around you, all of your businesses are going to thrive through this, not just survive. So let's see this as an opportunity and keep our heads up whilst we go through this together, right? They just try to bring me down.